got a package. Alright, so things are probably going to get a whole lot less productive around here, which isn't a bad thing, because it's merely indicating that my package has actually arrived. It's a Steam Deck. Oh, it's a little bigger than I'd anticipated, but the sticks feel nice, buttons feel nice. And I got a button there. So I'm gonna go and burn some time and set this thing up. I hope things still happen. I tried to record when I was playing on the Steam Deck, but I often forgot. I've also been travelling a bit for work, so that takes up quite a lot of time, and I don't often try edit or anything during that time. I also had McDonald's.
Sometimes I like watching these kinds of videos.
Oh my god.
Ah. Ha ha.
I thought I'd show off this little hole I made in the table. This is from back when I first got my laser engraver, and I was trying it out here on the living room coffee table, whatever you want to call this, and I just walked away like you're not supposed to, and for some reason it got stuck in this position with the laser on. And so when I got back from the shops, it was just here sort of burning away this nice little hole here. And I sat and watched it for a bit. I think I even videoed it a little bit. So yeah, just a little info. Laser hole, little side quest here. I purchased this button on AliExpress, and it clicks in and out like that. So that's off, that's on. And it's got a couple LEDs in there to light up this indicator and this indicator. But the problem is I want it to be momentary, so it's only on when you push it down, let it go, and it's off. So I'm going to start pulling it apart and see if I can figure out an easy way to momentary switch. That's a little bit quiet. Here we go. So it's this little pin thing here. As you can see, when I click it down, it's moving around a little bit, which is how it moves around the latches. So without really knowing or understanding exactly how this works, I'm going to try and pull this pin out. Oh, okay, so I want this pin to be off to the side. If it's off to the side, it's a momentary button. It's not going to stay there. Don't worry, you're not alone. So this is the mechanism I damaged. So it looked like it would just sort of follow a pin and clip into place. But that's okay. I didn't want that functionality. Oh, and here's the little grooves that the pin followed. But I didn't want a switch functionality. I want a momentary switch functionality. I know. This can feel like it's taking forever. There we go. Now that's a momentary switch. And I soldered up everything and made it a little extra globby just to you know, because it's going to take a little bit of force from being pressed all the time, especially considering the way this switch is built in here. But now that I'm looking at it, I don't think this is the right... this isn't the right button. I needed something a little more like that. Actually, you know what? It's very close. It's very close. It might actually just be right. But anyway, so those modifications have been made. Look cam. I want this second one. Oh, cool. I've already got it installed. Oh, I'd already tried it with something else. It should make this a little easier. I forgot I have to go through Wi-Fi to do it. And it's already found that device, so let's click into it. Modify the password. Good idea. Old password error. Was it like admin or something? Admin. Cancel. Let's just connect. Using default access password is not a wise choice. Do you want to modify it? No. I don't even know what it is. Alright. Is this the camera? Looking at me? See, just seeing that, I feel like it's not going to be very good quality. Here, for this terrible information, there's a switch and a button on this thing, neither of which are addressed in the manual that came with it. Okay, I'll push that button once. Does that mean it's recording? Does that mean it's recording? Okay, I'll push that button again. Nothing has changed. These lights are still the same, no blinks or anything. I'll hold it down now. Holding the button down. Turned it off. Oh, and it's back on again. Okay, so from the information I got from that short video there, that was terrible quality. It seems to just start recording as soon as it's turned on, which is great, because it means that, you know, you don't have to tell it to start recording. My concern is there a correct way to tell it to stop recording? Because technically, after that power cycle I did, it should have started recording again, and I think it did. I think it might have. So, just got the camera here. I'm going to move around a bit in front of it. Then I'm going to move the camera, and I'm going to move in front of it. How much footage am I losing? How does it know when I'm going to turn it off? You know, if I'm recording for an hour and then I accidentally forget, or even bump the battery, or if the battery itself goes flat, how do I know what it's going to do? How do I know its reaction? And I mean, that's also... I have no clue. And I can't find the AliExpress page that I brought it off of, and there are heaps else like it. But basically, I'm just going to test it out, take some time, figure out what the buttons do, and if they do anything at all. Seems to be an interesting little doodad, a little thingy-ma-what's-it, a what's-a-majig, what do you call it? The little camera guy here that I've just been talking about. The interesting part about it is I seem to be able to just, slap a memory card in there, power it on, and it actually record. And it makes a file which doesn't have a file type on it. It's just, I guess, the raw caching or something. Not entirely sure, to be honest. And then you turn it off, then turn it back on, and it converts that file into an MP4. So it works, it's just that it's really crap quality, so I'm not going to use it. I've just been moving some stuff around. I found this package. I haven't gotten around to setting it up yet because I've been working on some other things. So here's the two packages. two identical packages. So these are a bunch of delicate LEDs and wires. They're all already soldered and wired together. There's a USB port on it. Oh no, is this 5 volts? So in case you haven't seen one of these before, and I don't blame you, this is an LED curtain. Well, let's see what the current draw is. Wow, it has got a reasonably thick cable. So I'd say it's going to be a high current draw. Let's see. 2.5 amps. Power. Function.
Don't worry, I'm still here. I was just bored last time.
So you're going to need at least 3 amps for these LED curtains. They are reasonably stable by the looks of things though. And this does have a music option. Where's the microphone though? Bum, 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 ba-da-da-dun. Ba-da-da-dun. Got to avoid that copyright somehow. Well, I'm glad to see it works, and it seems to be that the highest current draw on this is just below 3 amps, hitting at about 2.85 amps, so a 3 amp power supply should be sufficient for this. Now, the other thing I'm going to open is not mine. Look at this funny looking security camera. So I've purchased this for a shop owner. I'm going to be installing it for him, and this gives basically a 180-degree view. It achieves this by having 2 cameras in the single housing. Now, it still shows up in the camera system as 2 separate cameras, but of course, at the end of the day, when you're wanting to process the footage and details and stuff, that doesn't really matter because you still get the full image. Sounds like they got some candy in there for us. This camera is the white metal version. I live in a rough neighborhood, and so is the shop that this has been installed into. So I gotta make sure that it's gonna be able to withstand at least a few things getting thrown at it on the regular occasion. But yeah, I thought I'd show you what this camera looks like. And look, it's the nice, clean looking network port. You know, it's not one of those big chunky ones like this one. Look at that. That's because all of the power conversion happens in this little box. Whereas for this camera, the power conversion is actually happening in there. And because of how I'm guessing it's set up, it would be way more efficient to do everything in the box than to have anything exterior to it. Just doing a close inspection. Looks like I could actually pop this off. Here we go. Easily able to pop this a little bit off. Alright, looks like I'm doing a dissection. Oh, here's the candies. What is this? So it's the silica gel. Oh, this is stock condensation. And there's 2 in there, somewhat obvious. Oh, there's a little port in here that isn't plugged in. Let me look though. There's nowhere for it to actually go. Oh, did something else fall out? I hope not. So what it looks like they've done here is they've got the 2 camera modules there, which then come into a main central processing unit. This might be mainly for app features where it will automatically stitch the footage together and stuff like that. So that's the nice little nichey parts.
We've got this big red cable here. I've got no idea what that's for, but this is the power module. This is where the network connection is coming in, and it's extracting the power and dropping it down to about 12 volts for the whole circuit. Now, the reason I opened this up is because I saw that the waterproof rubber bung housing thing here was not quite sitting right. Now, this is cool though, because though it's 2 cameras, it's a single micro SD card slot. And I also have figured out why this wasn't quite sitting right. I would say they did the best job they could, because it does not want to sit right. And I kinda regret opening it up like this, just because this is a little bit harder than I anticipated. Okay. That is great, and I've got 1 screw left in here that hasn't fallen out. Oh hey, the remote for those curtain things. I didn't even see that it had fallen on the ground. So the interesting thing about this little thing is, I mean, aside from the point that it's got infrared LEDs and visible light LEDs, which, you know, light up like a spotlight, it seems to be this little peephole here. Maybe there's some flashing lights that go on in there that you don't normally want people to see, but I thought it was an interesting little thing that isn't usually there. And I think there's this central LDR here with a mic hole underneath it, and there's even a little speaker bit there so you could talk out of it. Not comfortable with how softly this slides in. It feels like it's okay, it's not going to come off. I can admit that. So now that I've had a little play with it and I've removed some of the stickers that really shouldn't be on the outside of it. Okay, so the instruction manual that came with it is for a much older model that is also quite different. It says the speaker and SD card are in like completely different places to where they actually are on this model that I've got here. Time for another quick unboxing. That information isn't important. In here is a water cooling unit. Here we go. There we go, nice and simple. Little water cooling unit for a computer, and I'm going to use this for the bed cooling system. Oh, this is a pretty cheap bit of copper on the bottom here. Isn't it Cooler Master? I expected better from you. But looks like it's got all the parts, lightly used. Cool. But of course, I'm not doing that right now. Now, I was just on the other side of the house, and I still had music playing here on my computer in my little office here. And I could have opened up Spotify on my phone and paused the music like that, but I decided I would use Home Assistant, where I can actually pause the media. And I don't know, I guess I'm just showing this off. It runs on MQTT. It's got, Home Assistant agent installed on my computer. And I've given it control over, well, essentially all of these buttons here. Lock, log off, media next, media play pause, restart, shut down, sleep. I can give it a ton more commands. In fact, I can write my own scripts to trigger, so I essentially can trigger anything I want on my computer. And well, it's been set up like this for well over a year now, but this is the first time I've actually used this button to control the computer, and honestly, I'm quite surprised at how quick and efficient it is, considering the signal is bouncing from my phone to Home Assistant, which is running on a Raspberry Pi, and then it's going from there to the computer, telling it the specific command, and it was basically able to do that instantly. I don't know, I just thought it was cool. I think that's really cool. It's able to just instantly, like, I've got the button here on my computer, just like, you know, I I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really interesting. I like how reliable the whole system can be most of the time. There are the occasional times where things don't quite go as planned, but it's within the realm of error. You know, it's down to how good my programming is, how good programming of the Home Assistant community is, and how well it works with all of these random Chinese products I've gotten off AliExpress.
Parking up to pick up the groceries. So I just got a cheap power supply off of the internet. And, well, I just need to do a bit of a test. I want to see if it can sustainably supply the amount of power it says it can.
The safest way for me to properly run these LEDs for an extended period of time is going to be to set them up, kind of. So all these lights are only getting me up to 309 watts out of the potential 1200 watts. So I'm gonna have to come back to this problem and figure it out. Lights the room up nicely though. Just turn the roof light off. Could barely tell it was off. If I time this right as the startup current for all of the lights and a large motor kick in, it should hopefully be when the sensors are making their reading, which will give me the total. Right, 3, 2, 1. About 268 watts. I don't really have enough stuff easily accessible to be able to push any of this to the limit. So I thought we'd set up this curtain LED thing just to see what it looks like. I've got a basically blank, let's see, I've got a blank wall as well as a blank curtainy space. Just got to decide where exactly I want to put it. Now the mess. Oh my gosh. What an absolute mess. Okay, let's see, how long is an individual strand? Uh-oh. Put a little bit more thought into this before I just dropped it on the ground.
Oh, that's cool.
So I've done some tidying up and it just looks like it's messier. But I did end up pulling out this old circuit, which was the original circuit and stuff that I'd built up for the for like a smart bed. So this was the part that was in control of the electric blankets, and this was going to be turning them off and on, had temperature sensors, was going to make sure everything was all good and all that. But that project has since pushed forward and moved on a bit. So now I'm going to pull this apart, see what I can actually recover, see what I can leave the same, and I'm going to build up the circuit for the smoke machine so that I can control the smoke machine with ESP Home. Originally the idea with the smoke machine was that I was going to get it to work with DMX and I could, you know, do all the fancy things with it and stuff. And well, I haven't and I didn't, so I'm just going to forget about that and push forward, because this will gain me an ESP32 room, and it will also get that project done.
Too much talking, too much talking, too much talking doesn't help. Too much talking, let's get over that now.
Alright, let's see what came in the mail. Oh, interesting. I have a feeling this may be a power supply. 12 volt, 400 watt power supply. And I'm guessing this is the same. There was a little bit of a sale, so I got 3 of them. And let's have a quick look what they look like. Should look nice and tidy. Oh, look at that. Nice long boy, nice and tidy. And this has got an output of 33.3 amps. For those that don't know, I set up some LEDs that are under the couch. Now, it looks like it's working fine, but I have had to add some limitations. Because if you start turning all the settings up and take off the silly little limitations I had to give it, it will begin to fault you. In any case, I've got it set to solid white, and you'll see it's yellow here, but it's kind of white there, and that is due to the voltage drop happening, and it may also be down to the power supply, which is a reasonably old one, not the safest. What's the specs on this? Oh, 5 volt, 30 amp. This is 5 volt. So that makes getting this power supply a little silly now. I mean, I didn't get the power supply for that. I just thought I could change out that one, but I guess not. So, moving on then. And there it is, all done. This project that I have been delaying for a long time. I still have the programming to do, but I don't have any of the fog juice, so I'll have to do that later.